Morning, welcome back to Alan's Allotment. It's Sunday the 3rd of March 2024. So I thought it was time for a bit of an update. I've been extremely busy, as you can probably imagine, and what I want to do is spin you around and show you what we've been on with, what we've been doing, and hopefully you'll enjoy the update. Right, so the first thing is we've built a decent incubator. This is a fridge we got on Marketplace for £20, and we basically, it's not a fridge anymore, as you can see. Got a panel in this, and I put two controllers in here. I've played about with this so many times to get this right, and finally I've got it there now. So let me just plug in, let me just plug this one in there. And in a moment that'll set itself up, it'll set itself into alarm, and we'll just press that and that stops that. So what this one here is going to do is this one here will turn the egg trays, and I can pretty much use the gauge of the temperature and the humidity. However, what I've discovered is I've been hatching eggs, dry hatching all the time, and the success rate is far greater than anything I've ever done before. So this runs 12 volts, and all this does is nothing more than turn this egg tray, because it's the only controller I have. And if I press this little button, you'll see the egg turners turning in here, and it turns all three trays simultaneously. So inside here you'll see we've got a couple of bulbs at the bottom, we've got a fan to distribute the air, and this wiring is simply connected to those 12 volt motors, and this here simply drives this. It gives me a gauge on the temperature, which, as you can see, this one and this one don't match. This is the one that's controlling the real temperature. We haven't had this on long. I've just put it on as a test. I've done a test on it yesterday, and I'm doing another test on it now. And then basically what I have here is I've got all my old lead acid batteries, focus. Got all my old lead acid batteries down here. And then I have a little 200 watt inverter. Oh, this camera is terrible. I haven't got my other phone with me. And this is basically measuring the wattage that's coming out. Hooked up to this battery here. We have another one above that's fully topped up. I've got another one here, fully topped up. And then I've got these two here linked in series, so it gives us 200 amps there. We have little gauges on here that tells me this voltage and the state of the battery. I've got a Bluetooth module there I can tap into as well. And the biggest change is I invested in some proper solar controllers, and the difference is night and day. So instead of these little, let me try and find one. Even this one's half decent, but instead of these little things here, which do a job, don't get me wrong, we've invested in this eSun MPPT controller. Now the MPPT controllers are far, but the difference between those and the little PMW ones is night and day. I've been extracting up to 10 amps out of this, out of one solar panel. 10 amps. And when the sun was on earlier, I've just missed it, you would have seen that. But even when it's dropped down to such a low reading, which is only 0.3 of an amp because the sun's gone off, what I can do, what I've also doing, is I've run another set of leads off here so that I can charge my power banks via solar as well. Now at the moment you can see it's only pushing out 7 watts, but that's been up to 160. And this has its own battery management system built in. So that is totally free energy. It's up to 7% from being completely flat. So that's one of the MPPT controllers, and I'm not sure whether you'll be able to see this one or not because of the light. But we have another one here, slightly different, a little bit cheaper, but to be honest, it is an MPPT, and I've seen good amperage coming out of this, but it's not as good as this one. And then we went and bought ourselves some new LiPo 4 batteries, and these are absolutely amazing. They're expensive, but well worth the money. Now the difference between this battery and the lead acid batteries are, these have 40,000 cycles, charge cycles. They also, whereas it's 100 amps, which means I've got 1200 watts. And it will keep its voltage at 12 volts the whole time. Because basically they're just, not unlike a lead acid battery that goes downhill like that, these just keep giving 12 volts to the end and then drop. But you can exhaust these completely and take the full 1200 watts out of them. So obviously you're getting double your time from these batteries. And one of these batteries, one of these ones, just one, and I've got 4, will run this big 60 watt incubator for a full 24 hours. And I've actually got eggs set in here at the moment. So I've got eggs in here. I've got chicks hatching today in another incubator. And these here, this one here is, I've got 3 of these incubators. They're 52 eggs, and it's automatic turner built in as well. Absolutely excellent. I've already hatched 2 batches from these incubators, and the hatch rates were really good, using no water whatsoever. Just put them in and forget about them. Just keep them obviously powered, just forget about them, and just run the entire incubation process until you hear your chicks cheeping in there. And then leave them another 24 hours before you even take the lid off, and you get good hatches. Absolutely. I've been doing it wrong all these years. The way to go is dry incubation, dry hatch. And just cracked my head. And here's another solar controller that I bought. And this one here, I can actually tap into this one through an app at home. And I have 2 solar panels coming into this one through the Wi-Fi module, which runs on this little MiFi with a SIM card in there. And I can tap into this one and get the readings from this onto this battery whenever I want. And this is a bridge rectifier. Now I've also erected a wind turbine. So you've got your 3-phase AC current coming in here, and your 12 volts DC current coming out of here through this, which has gone on the blink. We need a new one out of here. And that also goes to the battery, so that when we've got no sun, but we've got wind, then we're still getting a charge into this battery. So in here you'll see these are the second lot of chicks, well grown now. These ones mostly are being kept for stock. I have sold a few of these, but not many. Most of these are being kept for stock. They've made a right all. The weather has been absolutely horrendous. You can see that it's, even with the covering, it's made an absolute quagmire of this. But the birds are thriving. So what else I've done is I've now erected a wind turbine. And We only have a very, very slight breeze today. You can see it just rocking back and forward in the breeze. But I've had good power out of this as well. They're not what they're rated at. I think that one's 600 watts, but I've had a couple of 100 watts coming out of that, which all goes towards contributing and charging up the batteries. And this is all that's left out of the first lot of chicks that we ever hatched. There's 3 little Pekins left there. The Plymouth Rocks are coming on leaps and bounds now. They're going to be used for breeding. The Buff Orpingtons are also getting ready to start laying now. And then we've got a couple of hybrids from my own, which was Leg Bar and Leghorn Cross, which are just going to be used as layers. And then we've got a few leg bars just down there, and a little Silky Cross pullet there. And I've sold quite a lot out of here, and this is all that's left out of the first hatch. Right, and lastly, you see I've got another 2 of these LiPo 4 batteries. This is the next batch of chicks, and in here we have mostly Morans, and the white ones I'm hoping are Bressy, which is a French breed. I have lost a couple out of chicks out of here. You always lose a couple, but that's just where it is. But they're growing fine now. These ones are 2 weeks old. These ones only hatched 2 days ago. Sorry about the camera work, guys. This camera is crap on this phone. Not as good as my other camera I normally use, but I didn't bring it with me. And I've lost quite a number of these ones. No reason for it. There were eggs that I bought in, or some of them were eggs that I bought in, and it seems like all one breed from that particular batch of eggs, they all died. The ones that did hatch, hatched out, and then they died. And it isn't that they weren't getting under the heat plate, because they were under the heat plate and just laying dead when it came in. And 3 hatched and all 3 died. The rest from different eggs are fine. So yeah, that's just a fact of hatching chicks. You're going to lose a number as well. On a positive note, we've managed to rehome a lot of cockerels as well from the first hatchings. And in here we've got some well summers off my own birds. And there was, I think there's 1, maybe 2 Norfolk Grey out of a batch of 6 eggs. And you can see the wind's just got up a little bit, and there's the wind turbine in action now. It's only very slow, but it's starting to turn. Just to show you that it does work, guys. Right, so today's video is going to be quite a long one, I'm afraid, because we haven't had a catcher for quite some time. So I've still got a lot of work in progress through here. You can see the state of it. But you'll see now that I've actually built some sheds and penned off this area down here, and got specific breeds that I wanted. These are Rhode Island Reds. There's a trio in there. You can't really see very well, but yeah. Then this is another little coop that we've moved over here now, and this is going to be another pen when this is fenced off for the Orpingtons, the Buff Orpingtons. And then over here, well, they're not out at the moment, but in this pen here I have a trio of copper Morans. Here's the cockerel now of the Rhode Island Red. Hello, son. There we go, and here's the hens coming out now. So I've been building these, and this is why I've been absent for so long. Putting all these fences up, fixing all that back fence. Oh, here we go, here's the copper Moran cockerel come out now. That's the cockerel, and there's 2 black hens in there. And these are the start of my show. Another shed that I've built. And these are silver duckwing Welsummers. Beautiful cockbird. And they're Welsummers with the silver neck. The silver duckwing Welsummers. They lay a fairly dark egg. They're actually just starting to lay now. I've actually got some in the incubator. The big circular incubator, I've just set some eggs off these now. There wasn't many, there's only 7, but I've managed to set those set. As you can see, the garden has never been touched all winter. All last year's crops are still sitting in the beds. And I'm going to show you an area now. Some of the flowers are starting to come up. I need to get started again over here. An area now you've never really seen, or if I have showed you it. It was when I actually lent this bit of ground to a mate. And it was a shambles like that over there. And basically cleaned it all out. Put down sand and then bark chippings and flagstones. And then we have another coop here that's in progress. I've just got brand new tarpaulins to go over this. I've put the original one back on. Got this on Facebook and brought it in the trailer and then reassembled it and strengthened it all up. And basically there'll just be a shelf in there with nest boxes along the back, and then we'll have full length perches running up each side of there. And this will house easily 20 hens. Plus they have up the side of here, which I've started to throw some sand and whatever down, and round the back of here as well, once I get all this area cleared, and get some wood chip down in here as well. And likewise with this area, this is all mine. It's, as I say, I lent it to someone else, and well, it needs a good old tidying up, I can tell you, and it's been slow going. But I'll clear all this area, and then I have another one of these, the same size, which will go across here, and a fence, and then eventually when he moves out, the top half will be tidied and cleared, and that will be another one. I'll disassemble the old greenhouse. That was the very first greenhouse I ever built out of just slate and lats. It stood about 7 years out of slate and lats and a bit of plastic off eBay. Right, thanks for popping along and sharing my journey with me. Just having a cup of coffee as I usually do, and then I'm going down home early today. I've burned myself out again as usual. And as you can see, the amount of work I've done, and I have to, people who follow the channel know that I can only do things in dribs and drabs, and that's why it's taken me so long to get round to doing a video and get it up there for you so you can see what progress. I've just been really busy. I actually took Thursday and Friday off just gone, plus Saturday. Today I've just had a leisurely day up here feeding the hens and playing with the incubators. But I've now got all of the power that we need. I've got the incubator, the large one built and working correctly. We have the other ones. We've plenty of incubators now that we can play with, but I like to potter, so I've still got other incubators I can do, even if I just do them and then sell them. I'm not bothered. Give me something to do, as if I haven't got enough. The secondary, the big controller on the fridge incubator, it does several things actually. So you can program that to turn the eggs for you. I don't have to keep pressing the button to turn the eggs. So you can program that to turn the eggs every 2 hours, which is really a need and a must for hatching eggs. It does that, and it does it well. Uses very, very little power because there are only 4-watt motors in there. There's 3 of them, 12 watts for 4 to 5 seconds. That's it. It has an egg candler built in, so I can candle the eggs. You can just put the light on and candle the eggs, a very powerful LED. It will count the days from 1 to 21, so as long as it's got power, it will remember when hatch date is. So it has a lot of benefits, that controller. And basically it is also capable of providing you heat as well through a 12-volt system. But I decided that the 240-volt AC through an inverter off the batteries is actually cleaner and more, well, not necessarily efficient, but just more reliable. And things have been going along quite well. The big 52 egg incubators are superb because they're dual power. So what I can do, what I did do initially, until I discovered, I had to see how long I could get out of one of those big LiPo 4 batteries. And I can get 24 hours out of that. But before I did that, what I was doing is I had the 240-volt AC from the power bank, which would run the incubator for a good 6 to 8 hours. And as long as the battery was hooked up and plugged in as well, it automatically switches over to the battery when the AC is depleted. And I checked this numerous times by pulling the AC while the battery was connected, and it was just seamless. It just flicked over onto the DC. And then I'll plug the AC back in and pull the DC out, and it would flick back to the AC. Absolutely seamless. So they're really, really fantastic incubators, them. Now, they had lots of bad reviews, but they're superb. If you dry hatching them, they're superb. I've had really good hatches out of those. Hence, I wouldn't have bought 3 if they weren't any good. I bought 1, seen how good it was, and bought another 2 while the price was low because of the bad reviews. So yeah, I've got the wind turbine up now. I have another one to go up. I've got solar panels up on the roofs, all wired up. I've got 4 more to go up and be hooked up. So I've got plenty of power now. And I will have when I get the other secondary wind turbine up. We'll go over the wind turbine setup in a bit more detail at a later date. And yes, there will be some gardening videos, but this year I decided I'm in no rush. And the reason for that is this year I'll just buy starts. I'll just go to the garden centre and buy the plants as I need them. The potatoes, I'll start planting those. I've plenty of seed potatoes. They'll go in the March soon enough here. About the only thing that really needs to go in is onions. I can clear a bed down quickly and get the onions in. And my garlic. I haven't put any garlic in either. Now, I know it's a bit late for the garlic, but I've planted this late before. We still get an odd frost, and they still come and they still grow. So I'm not in any panic, and what doesn't grow, doesn't grow. I'm not bothered. I'm far more at the moment interested in doing what I'm doing and really enjoying the journey. So, hopefully someone found this beneficial somewhere. If you've got any questions around hatching chicks or the solar systems or the wind turbine setup or anything like that, anything you'd like to see in particular, drop me a note in the comment section below, and or send me an email, which is also in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer your questions. As always, thanks for popping along. Thanks for all your likes, comments, dislikes, subscription suggestions, and your donations, also in the link, descriptions below. Wherever you are in the world, please stay safe, be practical, keep yourselves out of harm's way. Thanks again for your visit. I'll see you again in the next video.